Hello survivors and welcome to another video. In this video we're going to be taking a quick look at the Hilltop Egg Hunt event which started up, and it does look fairly decent. It doesn't look like it's going to be too much hard work. The only thing you may have to do that you may not currently do actively is raid, but it doesn't seem to take that much time. We'll go over sort of what I expect in terms of the possibility of rewards and also what I personally am going to aim for and why. And first up, you can see the event pop up, and there you can see three different types of eggs. It's green, pink, and these messed up looking bloody eggs. It says collect pink eggs, green eggs, and bloody eggs to earn medals, epic gear, and more. Redemption limits apply. Museum available at level 6. So we'll go head over to the museum in just a second. But first up, I'm going to go to my messages and just check the message from for the event, basically. And we're going to go over this. It says take part in the limited time Hilltop Egg Hunt from 27th of the 3rd to 12th of the 4th. During this limited time event, you can collect pink, green, and bloody eggs to redeem in the following Hilltop collections. And there are 6 collections, and we will look at those in the museum in just a second. Now, the pink eggs can be found on the daily roadmap, so make sure you complete that daily roadmap. You get 25 pink eggs for completing that daily roadmap, for completing the entire Act 1 and Act 2 put together. And by my calculations, between the start date and the end date, we should be able to do this 15 times, which amounts to 375 pink eggs. So just remember that number. I will remind you later when we're looking at the rewards. The green eggs can be found in raids, and I have got up to 150 from a raid before. You do get as little as 20 from what I've seen. But it seems to drop in every single raid, so just make sure you use your natural energy at least. I think I've done maybe 10 or 15 raids so far, and I've got over 700. It doesn't seem too bad. You don't need that many overall. I calculated that you probably need 2,000 green eggs probably, and I've got 700 in natural energy in 24 hours, so it's not too bad. Bloody eggs can be found in limited time tournaments and events. Now we have to wait and see what this is going to be part of, but it's probably going to be tournament rewards, tournament milestones, and there could be like a special roadmap that pops up. There could be they could do territories again with the they could do sort of limited time territories, you know, hold per hour and receive 1 bloody egg, and at the end you receive 5, you know, something like this. That could be something that pops up, so you have to keep your eyes out for that. But we'll jump into the museum now. And as you can see, there are 3 different types of collections. The first type of collection is called Hilltop Egg Hunt 1, and the rewards for this are Ascendance medals, which are silver and legendary, so you get both. The next collection is called Hilltop Egg Hunt 2, and the crate that you get from this is T3 gear for 6 stars. It is RNG box, so it's random what you get out of this. However, the last collection is the same collection, just split by trait. So you have alert, fast, strong, and tough, and you get 2 of whatever type of gear you're going for. So if you're going for alert, it would be the holsters. If you're going for strong, it would be hockey mask. Fast, it would be whetstone, and tough, it would be the bandolier. So you get to select. There's no RNG box in this, which I really think is a really nice addition. There are no big prizes in this in terms of there are no radios and no watches, no GPS and canteens. But I don't think this is a huge event. This is very short term, and I think this is kind of like just a side thing. And I think as a side thing, getting a guaranteed piece of loot, like you don't have RNG, you actually, if you get enough stuff, it's guaranteed what you get to get is really good. You know, especially if you specifically need like 2 hockey masks to get your Shiva to tier 4. You're going to be really happy with this. That's going to be great for you. And if you like, you have a lot of strong characters and you've gone through a lot of hockey masks already and you need more, maybe you don't have enough canteen and GPS just yet, but at least you can stock up on your hockey masks. And I think by the calculations, if you remember the number I said before with pink eggs, we'll be able to get 375, so you'll be able to get enough for 2 of these just from the daily roadmap. There may be more opportunities to get the pink eggs. They could show up in territories. They could be part of milestones and tournaments. But we're guaranteed to get enough for 2 from the daily roadmaps. You're guaranteed to get enough green eggs as long as you farm on the correct days. They do pop up on different days. I didn't actually go into that, but basically it alternates the days when you can farm these in raids. Just basically they should pop up whenever you raid. So if you don't get any eggs when you raid, then you're not going to be getting any eggs at all, basically. And the only one that's sort of truly bottlenecked is the bloody eggs, and it's based on how well you do it in tournaments. I guess the pink ones are bottlenecked as well, but I think you should be able to get 2 pulls regardless. If you do the daily roadmap and you do at least, I would say, semi-decent. I can't think how much 150 would be. You know, if it's part of territories as well, you could get more. Pink ones have to show up again. But as I say, 375 pinks. You could either get 2 pieces of tier 4 gear, or you could get one, or when I say 2 pieces, I mean 2 hand-ins, which would actually get you 4 pieces. But you could either get 2 hand-ins, or you could get 1 hand-in and like 4 hand-ins of the Ascendance medals. So you could get 2 pieces of gear and 4 crates. I wouldn't go for this one unless you're really desperate for this, and you kind of would have to have all of these all fast, tough, you know, every single trait to make this worthwhile. If you haven't got every single trait, I'd say the trait specific collections are really good for the tier 4 gear in terms of getting exactly what you want. I also think the medals are very good. My personal preference is probably going to be going for 1 gear pull and the rest in medals, just because I want to get as many medals as possible. I'm running low on silver Ascendance medals, and my thought process with this one is basically, if I've got a character that's maxed out tier 3 and I've got a character that's a 5-star who's maxed out and who's ascendable, if I had the choice between being able to ascend my 5-star to a 6-star or being able to tier 4 my 6-star, I'd probably want to be able to ascend a new character. You know, I wouldn't want to be bottlenecked on legendary medals or silver medals. Right now it's silver medals for me. I have got enough to ascend a few characters, but you never know what pops up in the future. You never know what characters are going to become available. I could be ascending like 5 characters in the next 3 months, and those medals are going to run out quick. So I need to think ahead. Gear is not something that's too bad for me in terms of I've got other places to get gear. There is the faction assault markers where I can get gear. You know, when these pop up on sale, you know, hockey masks and stuff, I try and get those. They also are in pretty much every event within large amounts, whereas medals are not so readily available. And as you can see, I've got 820,000, which is just enough to get 3 5-stars to become 6-stars. But I also do like to ascend 4-stars as well, so I kind of just need to look after my silver medal count a little bit. If I can get that to over 1 million, I'd be pretty happy. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to go for probably the whetstones on this region, and I'm going to go for the rest being the Ascendance crates. But I'm going to wait until the end. I'm going to calculate everything. I'm not going to pull too early, but especially with these big ones, if you go too early, you know, you could use the majority of your bloody eggs when you can't afford to do other things afterwards. And you know, this one isn't too expensive. So what I'd say is just make sure you rate. We'll go to my raid history, and as you can see down here, I've got 100, I've got 150 here, mostly 20s and 50s. I think I got some more below 50, 75, 40. So it does look like 20 is the lowest I've got, but I've got a couple of 100s. As you saw in the museum, my total is over 700. So just make sure you raid. This was from 24 hours of raiding. We'll just look at the dates again in the inbox, and I think it was every other day. So we'll look at the green eggs, and they can be dropped on the 27th, the 29th, 31st, and then the 1st. So it's 2 days in a row there. 3rd, 5th, 7th, 8th. So again, 2 days in a row there, and then the 10th. I'm not sure why they did it some days and not others. I'm not really sure about that. I guess they could have gone with the way of making a drop every day and just make the drops not as good. So instead of getting like minimum 20, just make it minimum 10. Maybe the max you could have got would have been like 80. So at least they're dropping all the time. But I think this is actually better for casual players, because if they're dropping more heavily and you just have to raid on a specific day to get more, I think that's probably better for players who aren't as mega active. It's also better for mega active players anyway, because you know they know what days they can get more, and they can just put more time in on those days to get extra drops. And it doesn't take too long. As you saw, I've got 700. I probably only need around 4,000, and within 24 hours I got 700. There is a raid tournament coming up in the next day or so, and one of the days of that raid tournament, I think it drops on one of the days where these green eggs actually can be dropped in raids. So if you're going to go in on that tournament, I would just save your cans for that raid tournament until these eggs are dropping. And I would complete the roadmaps. I've completed 2 of the roadmaps already, and I managed to get 50 eggs. I should be able to get the set at 375 as long as I don't mess up. I nearly messed up. I checked my roadmap and I went to Act 2 and I hadn't completed the last stage, and that could have messed up an entire pull of something. So make sure you complete, make sure everything's good, and just make sure you keep raiding using the natural energy. I don't think you have to can, but if you're going to can in the tournament, I'd wait until the second part of the tournament, because like I say, the eggs should start dropping there. But that's the end of this video, guys. I think the event looks pretty good. Especially, I particularly like that you can select exactly what tier 4 gear you want. So if you're specifically looking to tier 4 a certain character, you'll be able to get this sort of gear for them, which is a really nice thing that they've got in here. So that's what I'd say. I'd either do two pulls on whatever gear you want for tier 4, or do 1 pull and the rest in legendary medals. Or Ascendance medal, should I say. I would probably leave out Hilltop Egg Hunt 2 just because it's a bit of a lottery, and unless you have every single trait within that box, you're gonna run the risk of missing out. And I'd say these bigger the bigger pulls for gear like Alert, Fast, Strong and Tough, just because you're guaranteed, they are very much worth doing. So tell me what you guys think of this event. I know it's just a small event, it's nothing spectacular. I don't think it's going to be too hard work. Like I said, I only raided like maybe 12-15 times in the last 24 hours, and I've already got over enough for 1 of these pulls on the crates. It really depends on the milestones and tournament rewards for the bloody eggs, but in the past a lot of people have kind of freaked out of that potential, but it's always gone to plan. The only event that I ever remember there being a real issue with the museum collections was the very first time this was ever done. And that's kind of the time when your sort of mess-ups will happen. And that was the Michonne head event, where you had to get Michonne's head for, I can't remember how you got it. But that was a very long event, and that was a bit of a letdown. We did get 10k 5-star tokens as comp, but I think that every single event that has had a museum collection, like I can't remember the one, was it Death Letters, where we had to get pens and stuff like that. They dropped pens and letters within the war reward structure, and there will be a war during this tournament, during this event, so there could be extra stuff in there. And I hope there's territories. That was quite a nice addition. I really do hope there's territories. That'll be pretty cool. But like I say, guys, that is the end of this video. Thank you very much for tuning in, and as always, keep on surviving. Keep on surviving.